Matt Keenan's on the line to talk some Tour de France, and boys, it's been an eventful first couple of stages at the Tour. Matty, great to have you back on the program. Thanks a lot for your time again.
It's good to be on, Dwayne, and you're right. There has been a lot happening. It's been a dramatic opening couple of stages.
It has, and there is still a search on, or have they found the person with the sign saying, hello, grandmother, grandfather?
The search is still on as far as I'm aware, and the local police, they put out a couple of statements on social media yesterday asking people if they could help to find the whereabouts of the person who had their back to the peloton that was coming through, and with the cardboard sign, as you mentioned, saying, hello, and grandpa, and the carnage that ensued on the almost took out the guy that finished second in the race the year before. And then we had a crash a little bit later on that was a normal racing incident. It wasn't spectator related, where we saw Chris Froome go down heavily. We saw one guy, Spanish guy, Marc Soler, who was a contender perhaps to finish inside the top 10. He finished the stage with fractures in both arms. He didn't start the following day, but it was a long list of injuries, and the medical teams were really busy.
And it has been tough for a lot of them. This is an accident with a spectator that was almost going to happen sooner or later, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it's one that shouldn't happen. One of the things about cycling that is part of the culture of the sport is that it's not a stadium sport. So you put in a lot of faith as a rider in the spectators that they will do the right thing. And when you've got sometimes close to 1 million people on the side of the road, the large majority of people. But as we always say, Dwayne, it only takes one. And it was a brain fade, a stupid mistake that was made by that person. It can have dire consequences. There was a spectator that leaned too far over or reached out onto the side of the road back in 1998. And unfortunately, that spectator passed away as the peloton was coming past. It's put 3 riders from that crash alone out of the race who have prepared their whole season for this race. And for one of the riders in particular, it was their first opportunity to ride the Tour, and their life has been building up to it. They've been taken out on day one because of a spectator doing something stupid.
What's on the agenda tonight? It's been a couple of relatively flat stages so far.
They've been kind of hilly but not mountainous. Tonight is an opportunity for Caleb Ewan to win the stage. He's my favourite to win the stage. But last night's stage, Dwayne, was one where there was not a dry eye in the house for the French and for the Dutch. So the guy who won the stage last night, Mathieu van der Poel, his grandfather is one of the great French cyclists of all time, Raymond Poulidor. Raymond Poulidor finished second in the Tour de France 3 times. He finished third in the Tour de France 5 times. So he made the podium in Paris 8 times, and not for a single day in his career did he wear the yellow jersey. He then, later in life after he retired, he became the ambassador, ironically, for the yellow jersey. And he passed away around about 18 months ago. So he spent his whole career charging to try and get the yellow jersey at the Tour de France. He never got the chance to wear it. Yesterday, his grandson won the stage and got the yellow jersey. And in the post-race interview, he was asked about what it meant to go across the finish line, and he was pointing up to the sky, looking and thinking clearly of his grandfather, and he said, I have no words. And often we hear an athlete say, I have no words, and then they go on for a couple of paragraphs. He had no words, and then he just choked back tears. It was beautiful.
And your couple of contenders, Pogačar, Roglic, they're up there at the front at the moment, just sort of biding their time in a way?
Yeah, they're exactly where they need to be. For those guys, the next big test, that is not tonight, not tomorrow, but the next day. So that's Wednesday. That's an individual time trial. In addition to those guys, the Aussie to get excited about this year in terms of the top 10 overall and a guy that we'll see in the high mountains, Jack Haig. Jack's from Bendigo. He didn't come home in the off-season this year because of COVID. He stayed in Andorra. He did that the previous year as well. And Jack Haig has just been quietly going about his business. He doesn't get a whole lot of attention. Another thing that he's got in common with Cadel Evans, as well as being able to climb in the mountains really well, he started his career on mountain bikes. He represented Australia at Junior World Championships and Under-23 World Championships on the mountain bikes, has just worked his way steadily across onto the road. This is only his second time at the Tour de France, and he was really good last night. He's currently in 6th position overall, and he's looking solid for somewhere inside the top 10 by the time we reach Paris.
Now, you can catch all the action, Stage 3 tonight. SBS from 8:30pm. A little bit of Cadell Evans as part of the commentary team last night, Matt.
Yeah, because we went to the Mur de Bretagne last night stage, and it was 10 years ago that Cadell won the stage there on his way to winning the Tour for the first time. And when he won the stage there 10 years ago, he went across the finish line in first position. Second place was Alberto Contador, but it was a photo finish, and Contador was the one that threw the arm up, thinking that he won. But it was Cadell that won and got to go and stand up on the podium.
Great to have you, Matt. Really appreciate your text yesterday, and we'll talk again soon. Lovely hearing your voice of a night time. So if you haven't caught the Tour de France yet, make sure you catch it tonight. Stage 3, SBS, 8:30pm. We'll talk soon, Matty.
Thanks, Dwayne.
The voice of cycling, Matthew Keenan. Take a break. Brett Phillips not far away. We'll take a couple of calls as well. We'll talk some Wimbledon. I know Jonathan in Kangaroo Ground you've been holding for a while. John in Perth, Billy in Epping. I know you're on the line. We'll try to get to you all. Stick around. A bit more Dwayne's World to come.
Sports update for Le Mans Toyota Tottenham. Car buying out west made easy.